Guys, this your boy John, Liquidator, coming back with another video. So it looked like Caitlin Clark has called out Lexi Hall and Sophie Cunningham online. Guys, for this one here, we got to go all the way up to Indy. Let's get it. Let's go. Everybody had a great holiday, man. Things should be going back to schedule by the end of the weekend, man. I don't know how many videos I'm going to be putting out this weekend, but we shall put out some content here on the channel, man. With all that being said, I ain't going to waste no time, man. We're going to jump right into this thing, head on over to Google. So Lexi Hall made it her business to...
Caitlin Clark could only watch in horrified disbelief as a fundamental core of her team appeared to crumble right in front of her. And let me tell you, the shocking news that was breaking wasn't simply another update on player contracts or off-season transactions. No, this was about something far deeper. It was about loyalty. It was fanned by rumors of a bitter high-profile departure by two of her major teammates, Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham. These two players, who were formerly regarded part of the Indiana Fever's core, were now sending shockwaves across the league with their decisions. You see, this wasn't your typical free agency drama. It was a seismic shift, a significant event plainly motivated by a simmering enmity that had surfaced in public only months before, with their probable exits looming. The true cost of those previous public insults, as well as the very real impact they are having on Clark, is becoming frighteningly evident. What appeared to be fun teasing at the time is now seeming like a foreshadowing of the Fever's impending demise.
Google. So Lexi Hall made it her business to, kind of take some shots at Caitlin Clark. Now, I know y'all is wondering, what? Take some shots at Caitlin Clark? Where is this coming from? Now, this article right here states Lexi Hall waited months to go back at Caitlin Clark. She probably could use a little sun. Now, that is what Lexi Hall stated. They say revenge is a dish best served cold. And Lexi Hall knows this well. The Indiana Fever guard waited almost 6 months for the perfect moment to get back at her teammate Caitlin Clark for teasing her about her tan line.
The stress actually started in May, prompted by what appeared to be a completely innocent social media post. Sophie Cunningham posted a few images that quickly went viral, capturing a moment that will become utterly iconic in the sports world. But here's the deal. The photographs themselves did not start the firestorm. The true explosion occurred as a result of Caitlin Clark's swift and harsh response in the comments area. Her statement, delivered with her trademark bluntness, transformed an ordinary everyday post into a massive public spectacle. In doing so, she laid the groundwork for a dramatic back and forth that would define their relationship for months to come. And you can bet the entire basketball world was watching, captivated by the unfolding drama.
A dish best served cold. And Lexi Hall knows this well. The Indiana Fever guard waited almost 6 months for the perfect moment to get back at her teammate Caitlin Clark for teasing her about her tan line. Now, this is what Caitlin Clark is clowning him about. So this was from a couple months ago. As you guys can see here, this is Sophie Cunningham Instagram page. And Caitlin Clark quickly got in the comments section and said, little less tanning, a little more basketball. This was 30 weeks ago. These are the photos right here that went viral at the time. This post right here has 100.
Caitlin Clark's remark was a straight, premeditated hit. A little less sunbathing and a little more basketball. Clark's style was forceful, competitive, and brutally forthright. And you have to understand that this was more than just some friendly banter between teammates. A sentence like that strikes directly at the heart of professionalism and dedication in the eyes of an athlete like Clark. The original photographs, which featured Sophie and Lexi, immediately gathered up an impressive 33,000 likes, demonstrating how much attention this seemingly modest interaction had garnered. This was effectively a public challenge. It was a statement from the league's biggest and most talked-about player, and it ensured that the whole Wnba community was now well aware of the underlying tension seething just beyond the surface inside that hot locker room.
To say last May, which that's what we just went over, Lexi strikes back at the barb that took 6 months to return. In a recent interview with People magazine during the Glam Women of the Year, Lexi Hall took the opportunity to talk about the now infamous photo shoot. She definitely jokes about it. The guard admitted she explained that Caitlin Clark often made comments on here and there, but it's all in good faith. Cunningham didn't hesitate to give her a hard time for the joke. Now, I believe this is what Lexi Hall put out here.
But Lexi Hull was not about to sit back and allow Caitlin Clark have the last word. Oh no. She waited for over 6 months. Lexi deliberately bided her time, carefully planning the ideal moment for her counterattack. This was not an impetuous, spur-of-the-moment response. No, this was a well-orchestrated act of vengeance. According to people familiar with the matter, the basketball world and those watching frequently forget that underlying all the togetherness and team spirit, these athletes are tremendously competitive fires that burn furiously within them. Lexi was going to remind everyone that certain slights are never truly forgotten. They are only strategically avenged when the moment is right for maximum deadly effect.
Lexi and Caitlin remain best friends. Yeah, so one of the biggest conversations is going to be this offseason. I think they have, when is the CBA? Let me see. Today's the 29th. When is the last day of the month? Let me pull up my calendar here. Let me pull up my calendar real quick. The last day of the month is tomorrow. I just thought about that. That was just the last day of the month is tomorrow, guys. So basically, the WNBA has until tomorrow to get a CBA agreement done. Now, one of the biggest talk.
A wonderful opportunity finally presented itself during a high-profile interview with People magazine, right in the midst of the Gorgeous Women of the Year gala. Lexi used that big platform not only to discuss a wonderful career, but also to make a subtle yet devastating shot right back at Clark. She could probably use some sun, Lexi joked, alluding to Caitlin's previous remarks about her tan line. It was an absolutely perfectly timed public rejoinder that reverberated throughout the WNBA, indicating that the so-called fun mocking had made an indelible mark. More importantly, it demonstrated Lexi's unwavering determination to settle the score, and she intended to do so on her own terms in front of the world.
Basically, the WNBA has until tomorrow to get a CBA agreement done. Now, one of the biggest talks is going to be free agency. One of the free agents for the Indiana Fever is none other than Lexi Hall. Lexi Hall is due for a major payday. I believe Lexi Hall should be getting her money. Ben said it. Ben speaking about it all offseason, that Lexi Hall, this is a payday year for her. She should be definitely getting paid. But another big question is Sophie Cunningham. Now, we know a few weeks ago, Sophie Cunningham has stated that she wanted to go to a team, the next team she went to, she wanted to buy a house there and basically make that.
Sophie Cunningham, who has been actively involved in this social media scandal since the beginning, merely poured fuel to the fire. You have to remember that the photograph that began it all was first uploaded on her Instagram profile, which put her firmly in the crosshairs of Caitlin's now infamous comment. So, following Lexi's public remarks, Sophie wasted no time in chastising Caitlin for the prank. And let's be clear, this wasn't a passive observation from the sidelines. It was a lively exchange that wonderfully underlined the complicated web of relationships and rivalries that so often define professional sports teams. The interplay between these players was significantly more deep and layered than the public initially perceived.
Getting paid, but another big question is Sophie Cunningham. Now, we know a few weeks ago, Sophie Cunningham has stated that she wanted to go to a team, the next team she went to, she wanted to buy a house there and basically make that her home, which I think is great. I think that is great that she's looking to do that. But here's my thing. This is where things kind of went south, because a lot of people feel as if, not Lexi, but Sophie was saying that as if she wanted to leave Indiana. And as of right now, I don't know, man, but they're definitely going to be
The People magazine piece effectively solidified the entire narrative, publicly validating Lexi's lighthearted yet unmistakably targeted remark. The story expressly quoted Lexi Hull taunting her teammates about her tanning habits, followed by direct reference to her stinging barb. She could surely need some sun. This was more than just locker room gossip or an inside joke. It was now a highly aired public declaration, guaranteeing that the whole WNBA universe, including Caitlin Clark, heard Lexi's comeback loud and clear. You must perceive it for what it was. A carefully staged media event designed to deliver maximum impact while emphasizing the very real tension that was brewing beneath the surface.
Possible lockout. Now, I haven't heard anything yet about any extensions. They have until tomorrow, really Monday. So Monday is the day that we find out if there's going to be a lockout. Now, what's next? is, okay, let's say it is a lockout. You really don't want this lockout going into March, April. Because if the lockout do go into March or April, that could potentially hurt the May starting date for the season, because the season starts in May. Now, we definitely want to have a 2026 season, judging off everything that...
Despite these highly public and competitive encounters, rumors indicate that Lexi and Caitlyn are still and will be best of friends. This assertion adds an immensely fascinating element of complexity to the entire story, doesn't it? It makes you wonder how such strong public insults could coexist with a deep and sincere friendship. It evokes a high-stakes, hyper-competitive workplace in which personal connections are continuously tested by professional ambition and the harsh glare of the limelight. The line between playful mocking and genuine antagonism appears to be razor-thin, leaving fans everywhere wondering about the true nature of their friendship amidst this swirling issue. The stakes, however, have risen much beyond humorous barbs, as Lexi Hull is currently a huge free agent, poised for a massive payoff. Her contract issue is genuinely one of the most talked about topics this offseason, with widespread anticipation that she will command a high salary from whoever signs her. And it's not only about the money, it's about her entire future, including whether she stays with the Indiana Fever, possibly alongside Caitlin Clark. Her departure would be a significant, devastating blow, taking a key piece from the team's heart and multiplying the impact of their previous public fights 100-fold. And if that wasn't enough, Sophie Cunningham's ambitions are much more obvious, bringing a new level of urgency to the Fever's roster issues. Sophie openly proclaimed her intention to join a new team just 3 weeks ago, expressing unequivocally that she wanted to move somewhere where she could purchase a house and call it home. Now, it is not subtle. It's a clear, unmistakable statement that she's ready to leave Indiana. Her statement sent shockwaves through the fan base, giving a stark, bleak picture of a club that could lose vital talent and heightening concerns about Caitlin Clark's future with a drastically diminished roster. In reality, Sophie's public revelation was widely regarded as a direct intention to leave the Indiana Fever, with many fans and experts perceiving it as a clear sign she was ready to move on. This notion had a significant ripple effect, prompting widespread concerns about the team's cohesion and ability to keep important players. The prospect of losing Sophie, especially given the current tensions, just adds to the Fever's enormous issues as they prepare for a highly uncertain summer and a potentially divided roster. All of these key player decisions are taking place against the backdrop of unprecedented league-wide uncertainty. You see, the WNBA is approaching a deadline for a collective bargaining deal. And with that comes a very real possibility of a lockout if an agreement is not reached quickly. This hazardous condition casts a gloomy shade over the whole free agency period, making it extremely difficult for players like Lexi Hull to guarantee their careers and for teams like the Fever to field a squad. The entire league is holding its breath, hoping to avoid a catastrophe that could severely wreck the coming season. A WNBA lockout would be devastating, especially if negotiations dragged on until March or April. An extended suspension like that would directly jeopardize the start of the 2026 season, which is usually slated for May. Fans, many of whom have become personally invested in the league thanks to players such as Caitlin Clark, are yearning for a complete season of basketball. A lockout would not simply halt player movement. It would significantly undermine the league's developing momentum, potentially alienating a nascent fan base and causing major long-term damage to its brand. Caitlin Clark's absence for a significant stretch of last season exacerbated the team's troubles. Sitting out for nearly 30 games due to an injury raises serious concerns about her readiness and durability as she moves ahead. So, the biggest narrative for the next WNBA season isn't just free agency drama or prospective lockouts. The question is whether Caitlin will return as a dominant, unstoppable force that fans expect her to be. Her ability to lead a potentially broken team, especially if important players like Hull and Cunningham leave, will be the ultimate litmus test for her superstar status in the face of genuine adversity. As if that wasn't enough pressure, the WNBA faces an existential danger from a new entity known as Project B. This mystery new league is supposedly making outrageous offers, with players joining for $2 to $3 million right away. This great financial lure poses an unprecedented difficulty, since Project B could easily grab elite talent, particularly if the WNBA experiences a lockout, leaving its own players without compensation and yearning for alternatives. The stakes for the WNBA's existence have never been higher. Let's be clear. The WNBA simply cannot afford a lockout right now, simply because Project B is actively and aggressively recruiting. If the established league fails to pay its players because to a labor strike, these highly sought-after athletes will undoubtedly gravitate towards Project. This rival league, which offers significant financial incentives, has a potential to rapidly deplete the WNBA's star power, resulting in a catastrophic talent exodus and gravely compromising the league's future relevance and competitive integrity in one fell swoop. The predicament is aggravated by the fact that the majority of the WNBA's players are presently free agents, a stunning statistic that further adds to the possibility of a lockout. If Project B begins signing these women to multi-million-dollar contracts while the WNBA remains in uncertainty, they may be strongly motivated to desert the existing league entirely. This is no longer simply about contract discussions. It's a war for the very soul of women's professional basketball, with the future of a whole institution at stake against a well-funded opportunistic foe. Consider the scary possibility for elite players such as Kelsey Mitchell, another crucial player for the Indiana Fever and a free agent. Imagine Project B approaching her and saying, "Hey, we don't really want you to play in the WNBA this season. It's still shut out. Here's a multi-million-dollar contract instead." The ramifications are completely astonishing. Project B has the potential to systematically deconstruct WNBA rosters, cherry-picking the best talent and dramatically changing the entire landscape of women's basketball overnight, leaving established clubs like the Fever absolutely exposed. The combination of all of these variables, including prospective player exits, an impending lockout, and the unexpected rise of Project B, casts a long, dark shadow over the whole 2026 season. Fans are left wondering if there will even be a season to look forward to, or if their favorite league will be eternally altered. The WNBA's leadership is under intense pressure to reach an agreement, not only for the purpose of player contracts, but also for the league's very survival. The clock is ticking, and delay will have terrible consequences for everyone involved. And that is why the turmoil involving Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham, their public digs at Caitlin Clark, and their imminent free agency are far more than isolated events. They are profound, agonizing symptoms of a league struggling with its own identity, destiny, and survival. As Caitlin Clark may face a future without her important teammates, and as the WNBA fights for its very existence against these powerful external forces, the stakes could not be greater. It's no longer only about winning and losing on the court. It's about the soul of women's basketball and whether,